The slow fade breakup is one of the most painful things to ever go through with an avoidant. The abrupt, blindsiding discard is very brutal as well, and it gets most of the spotlight when it comes to avoidant breakups. But the slow fade is brutal. It is agonizing. This person starts to slowly withdraw from you. Their communication becomes less affectionate. It becomes less romantic. They're getting quieter and colder. They're now starting to cancel plans. They're not really initiating communication and often withdrawing from intimacy, but it's happening slowly over time. And you feel this person slipping through your fingers. You feel them slipping away. But meanwhile, you ask them if everything's okay, and they tell you everything's fine. I'm just busy at work, yada, yada. And they make you think that you are going crazy because when you try to talk to them about it, they deny it and they gaslight you. They make you think that it's you that's perceiving things wrong. It's nothing that they're doing. But you can still feel this person distancing. And then you try harder and harder to win them back in the relationship, becoming more and more anxious, losing yourself, losing your sense of self, and really hurting your self-worth as you try to chase this person over and over and over again. Hurting your sense of self-worth, that is. It is an absolutely brutal thing to go through. And then eventually, the inevitable happens. They end the relationship, or they just ghost you. They pull back to the point where they just disappear. They never reach out to you again. And you never even get the breakup conversation. That's it. They're just gone. Either way, it is brutal, and you're given little to no explanation as to why the relationship has to end. If they do tell you that they're breaking up with you, it's usually vagueness. We're just not compatible. I just don't see a future together. I can't give you what you need. I'm just not ready for a relationship right now. Work is too busy. You're given no closure either way. And your heart is shattered. And it becomes so incredibly easy to blame yourself, thinking you must have done something wrong and wishing you could go back in time and do this better or do that better. Blaming yourself the entire way. Really trying so hard to pick up the pieces of your shattered heart. But it's really hard to do so because you have no closure, and the person that you thought was your forever person is showing you no empathy. It's a really brutal thing to go through. But understand, if you showed up as a healthy, loving partner, you didn't have to be perfect. But if you gave this person your all, and you were kind, loving, and consistent with them, and they did this to you, it's not because of anything you did wrong. It's because they had their fears triggered. This is a person that grew up with consistent childhood emotional neglect. Regardless of whether you're dealing with a dismissive or fearful avoidant, their emotional needs weren't met in childhood. And it developed a very specific set of fears that get triggered by healthy relationship behaviors. Things like emotional intimacy, disagreements, expectations, maybe arguments, but things that are normal, that normal couples work together and work through. Some things that are even healthy for the relationship are triggering to them. But this is a person that was not able to express themselves as a child. Every time they tried to assert their feelings would get dismissed, rejected. So they learned to bottle it up. They learned to stuff it and put on a happy face. They learned to not express themselves. So if there were things that were bothering them or giving them anxiety in the relationship, they never told you. Instead of telling you, what they did was avoid, withdrawing, not having that conversation with you, never giving you the opportunity to even address their fears or concerns. Instead, they just withdrew, and refused to communicate with you, and showed you no empathy at all, because this is a person that is solely concerned about themselves, solely focused on their own feelings, their own perceived needs and fears. They're not considering the impact that this has on you. There's no empathy at all. It's all about them. That's why they're emotionally unavailable. Because one of the core components of emotional availability is the ability and the willingness to empathize with your partner. They're showing you no empathy. They were never really emotionally available for you. And now you're finding out in a very brutal, painful way. But don't blame yourself. You didn't cause this. Healthy people do not slow fade out on each other. Healthy people have conversations and communicate. If there's issues in the relationship, they give their partner the opportunity to address them through healthy communication, holding boundaries, things like that. You can't force them to show up in a healthy way, and you certainly are not responsible for their unhealthy behavior and their slow fade. It's a brutal thing to go through. Be kind to yourself. You would have never done it to them, and you certainly didn't deserve it happening to you.